Hi everyone, welcome back to Susan Dawn at Spiritual Connections. Okay, first things first, my microphone crapped out of me, so apologies for the sound. I will try to maneuver the sound and make it better in edits, but we're just gonna have to deal with it. Okay, I don't know what this is. This is gonna be a response to a really amazing question that was posed by one of our members of our community. She asked in the recent Ascension Relationship Energy Update if we could explain more about what does it mean that twin flame is an energy? And so I'm going to do my best to articulate the teachings that I've received from my guides. Now, before I go into this, I'm going to try to simplify this as best as possible. But before I go into this, I do want to have a disclaimer. Everybody has a piece of the puzzle, and everybody is on their own path. As much as we're part of a collective, everybody's having their own experiences and on their own path as part of the collective. So if it does not resonate with you, then it just means that it's not for you. It just means that it's not part of your path, and that's okay. There is no right and wrong in this context. There is no right and wrong when it comes to your personal truth, when it comes to your spirituality, and when it comes to your journey. That's really important to understand. There is no right and wrong. It is just experience. So, that being said, as a disclaimer, if this is not resonating with you, then allow yourself to disregard it, allow yourself to just move on from it, take what does resonate with you and just allow yourself to disregard the rest and keep journeying and discovering what does feel right for you and what does resonate with you. Okay. The first thing that I want to mention is we're recording this on June 6th. So we have the 6/6 portal. So it feels really auspicious. It's also Gemini season, and Gemini is the sign of the twins. So that feels really auspicious as well. When we're approaching this, we're going to look at this from the soul's perspective. So not the human perspective, but the soul's perspective as far as energy, as far as ascension, as far as the higher level. So allow yourself to open your mind to that respect. I know we try to bring it down sometimes to the human perspective and what does this look like in relationship and conscious relationships. But as we had channeled a beautiful and powerful message in that Ascension Relationship Energy Update, I think I called it Across Space and Time, what it comes down to is a love and remembering that the basics of this journey is about coming home to yourself with regards to remembering love. Okay, and love is who you are, and don't forget that either. So I encourage you guys to check out that Ascension Relationship Energy Update. In the meantime, I'm going to try to clarify what I mean that twin flame is an energy. First, everything's an energy. Everything is energetic. We're just in this physical form. Our bodies, we have material, everything materializes in a physical form. We're here on this planet in human form and having this very physical experience, but we are soul, we are spirit, we are energy. So that to be said first. And I'm just going to go a little bit deeper within myself to keep connecting, to kind of bring this through, get out of my own way and bring this through in the best possible way, in the best possible light. At the highest level, you have God source, that mother, father, God source energy. You can call it higher power, creator, God, the universe, whatever you want to call it. It is that God source energy. It is that mother, father energy that is, in its purest sense, unconditional love. When you are created as a soul, you are birthed from that mother, father, God source energy. Just like here on earth, we have mother, father, children in a number of different ways, not just biologically, but the mother, father, child essence as that Trinity energy. So too do you have divine masculine, divine feminine, and God source. So too do you have mother, father, God source, and you. All aspects of that Trinity energy. So on the highest level, from the highest perspective, you have God source, the universe, whatever you want to call it, birthing you as a soul. Sometimes that soul, you can imagine it as a ball of light. That's what they're showing to me now. They're showing it to me as a ball of light. That ball of light splits into two. And the split is not a separation, although within our human perspective, we perceive it that way. It's not a separation. You are still whole, but you split. And they're bringing me Plato's allegory, Plato's Symposium, where he talked about this and he shared that it was one soul split into two bodies. You split for the lessons, you split for the growth, you split for the ascension, you split for the expansion. Because remember, as a soul, you are learning, you are growing, but that also helps the universe to grow and expand. So, as you as a soul and the billions of others on this planet are growing and expanding and learning and experiencing, that's how the universe expands, because the universe experiences itself through us. Just as we are an aspect of the universe itself, the universe experience, God experiences through us and expands in that regard. So, with the two of you, you have your one soul, two energy bubbles. I guess we could call it two energy bubbles. And then you incarnate in human forms. And they're also reminding us that it's not just on planet Earth that you've incarnated, but it's other planets, other galaxy systems. Your life on Earth is not all there is. But we're going to talk about Earth. Earth School is what they're calling it. So you have the masculine and you have feminine energy. You split into two and you're still whole. It's really important to understand you're not lacking anything in that regard, but you do want to come back to each other because you recognize yourself as one. And so there's a natural drawing towards each other, a natural connection towards each other, a natural magnetism towards each other. You have the masculine and you have the feminine. And for the sake of this channeling, we're going to talk about it in terms of male and female. But energy is genderless. So understand that as well. Just for the sake of this, to better understand and give a visual, we're going to talk about the masculine as a male and the feminine as a female, just for the sake of the channeling. So you have the masculine energy and you have the feminine energy in physical bodies. You still have masculine and feminine energy within you. So for myself, I still have masculine and feminine energy within me. I identify more with the feminine energy because that's where I feel most safe and comfortable. Now, in my wounded state, that's not true, because through the experiences that I've had on this planet, in this lifetime, in this body, and even past lifetimes, the experiences that I've had, the wounding that I've experienced, the trauma, the triggers, all that stuff, the conditioning, I've been more in my masculine energy, where I feel like I need to take charge, where I feel like I need to do, where I feel like I need to provide, where I feel like I need to be responsible for myself, for everybody around me. And I've taken on that role since childhood. A lot of this stemmed from me since childhood, where I took on that role of responsibility, even though that was not my responsibility, because I didn't have the boundaries, because I didn't allow other people their journeys. I was coming from good intentions, and that I was trying to be loving and I was trying to be protecting and I was trying to be, just supportive. But it's almost like I went the other way. Too much into independence, too much into overgiving, too much into sacrificing myself, too much into not having those healthy boundaries and not able to express myself. Through this ascension journey, I've learned how to step more into what feels energetically at peace for myself. And what feels energetically at peace for myself is the feminine energy. When I feel really safe and at home, especially in a masculine presence provides. A masculine presence gives. And when I feel safe and at home within that masculine presence, I allow myself to receive. And again, conditioning and my experiences and feeling devalued and feeling unloved kind of turned everything on its head and created a lot of wounding and made it feel like I wasn't able to be in my feminine presence. It didn't feel safe for me to be in my feminine presence, so I went the other way into more of the masculine energy. But through my awakenings and through my ascension, I've learned to embrace my feminine energy and to feel safe and to feel good in that. As another example, I recently heard an amazing metaphor that the masculine energy is, we all know the basis of the masculine and feminine energy. We've been talking a lot about that. And if you would like to learn more about twin flames and that energy, I really encourage you guys to check out my Twin Flame Truths channelings. I have a playlist available here on the channel. I also have the full spectrum of the offering. The playlist is just excerpts, but I have the full spectrum of the course on my website you can check out. I think it's like 5-7 hours, something like that, of channeling. Anyway, so I heard a great metaphor. The masculine is the flagpole, grounded, present, stable, secure, being very supportive in that energy, steadfast in that energy, consistent in that energy, very direct in communication and in its offering and its giving. The masculine energy gives so that the feminine can receive. And the more the feminine receives, the more she's able to then give. So if the masculine is a flagpole, then the feminine is the flag. And my spirit guides are being funny with that metaphor, but I'm just going to let them have that and go on. You guys. Anyway, so the feminine is the flag. And if the masculine is steady, is secure, provides that safety, provides that support, provides that consistency and that presence, then the feminine is able to fully shine. She feels safe enough to shine. She feels safe enough to fly, to be at full what's it called? Full mast, to really be, flying in the wind. Without the feminine, the masculine is just a pole. Without the masculine, the feminine can't fully fly and embrace herself. So that's where that balance comes into play. That's where that union comes into play. That's where the balance of the polarities come into play. And you first experience that within yourself before you experience that in relationship and connection with another. We'll get into that in a little bit. So you have both masculine and feminine energies within you, yes, but you have a core masculine or feminine energy where you feel most comfortable, you feel most at home. At certain areas of your life, certain experiences, certain phases, certain times of the day, you might have to move into your masculine or feminine energies more. But it's where you feel most at home, where you feel most at ease, where you feel most comfortable. What feels true to you? So for myself, I feel most at ease when I'm in my feminine, but I haven't always felt safe to be in my feminine. And that's what I've been learning. That's what I've been kind of calling back. In the past, it was really, I was in my trauma response. So I was always active. I was always doing. I was always giving. But that was a trauma response. And so for me to allow myself to have those healthy boundaries and pull back more into my feminine, that's me balancing my masculine and feminine energies within so that I feel safe within my own masculine energy to offer that safety and security to my inner feminine. So you have both energies. Little ball of bubbles, you kind of split and you come into earth and you're incarnated here. And the reason for that is rapid acceleration, because it's like, they gave me an example of Hermione once in Harry Potter. You know how she has a time turner so that she could take more courses at school, because she can't be in two places at once. She can't be in two classrooms at once. So Dumbledore gives her a time turner so that she can take one class and then turn back time so that she can go and take another class. It's kind of a similar kind of metaphor where you and your counterpart will naturally be running parallel lives. And it will not be the same. You will express yourselves differently. You will express yourselves in various different ways, but the core will be the same. So, for example, if you have a wounding around abandonment, You might experience that as a trigger in a number of different ways. Maybe your masculine was abandoned by a relationship. Maybe you were abandoned by a family member, but you have that same kind of core wound that you work through. For myself, I experienced a lot of trauma with regards to illness and feeling trapped with regards to illness. And counterpart might experience that in a different way. It looks different on the surface, but the energy is the same underneath. So you experience life in a very different way through different versions of the same energy. Does that make sense? I'm trying my best to explain it. So different versions of the same energy, but the core essence of what you're experiencing is the same, and that's for your expansion. Remember, you are a union of opposites. At the core, you're the same, but you might look different, seem different. You might feel like it's opposites attract, and you might wonder, what the heck am I doing being attracted to this person? They are my complete opposite. It's not just opposites attract as in physical attraction. It's an understanding that you are the yin and the yang, and together you balance each other out. One might be very good at expressing themselves in communication, and one might struggle with that. One might be very good at taking action, and for example, my counterpart is amazing at conflict, and I run away from conflict. That it makes me feel very unsafe and very uncomfortable. Together you learn, and together that you grow. And through that learning and through that, but underneath it's the same kind of energy. You understand that? So within that, it's like that's where you expand at an accelerated rate, because it's not just one of you, it's not just you that is learning and growing and expanding, but your soul is split into two bodies for that accelerated course, for that accelerated expansion. It's like double time. Does that make sense? So that's how the universe is continuing to expand as well. And that's how what they're sharing is that that's how the frequency of the planet is shifting so rapidly as well, because a lot of these twin flames have come in now. When I mean now, I mean this generation, this lifetime, in order to help with the ascension of the planet. And what better way to help the planet to ascend and shift in frequency and change the paradigm, but to come and inhabit two different bodies for that expansion and for that growth, for that accelerated learning. And so what happens when you come together is it's like what they showed me was the yin and the yang, two separate pieces, the white piece and the black piece, right? But what happens is you lock into place, into the wholeness, that circle, that yin yang, and it's like that's your union. That's when things start turning. That's when things start shifting. That's when you have that higher heart ascension after all that clearing out of the karma and clearing out of the soul sludge. Because you also, through lifetimes, you will have karma. You have experienced this lifetime many times with your counterpart in a number of different ways. And so you might accrue karma through past lifetimes and even just your individual karma, because you have experiences, and experiences creates that kind of karma before it becomes conscious, before you're doing the clearing. That's what's happening in this lifetime. And so what happens is that karma can create separation. And you're also remembering what it feels like to be separate. But divine counterparts, twin flames, always want to be together. You always want to experience that union with each other, because you know on a core level that you are one. You know on a core level that you are love. So, brief understanding of twin flames. I know it sounds very convoluted. It's very hard to explain this from a higher level concept. So what are you? In the simplest form, what are you with your twin flame? You are love. That's it. You are love. You are an expression of God's source, an absolute expression of God's source energy and the unconditional love that God's source presents, or that exists as God's source. You are absolutely love. When you come into physical incarnation, because of the karma, because of the experiences and the traumas and the dense energy and the conditioning and the patterning, because of your human self, you get caught up in all of that. And that's what creates separation. You forget that you are love. You forget that you are and always will be one with your twin flame, one with your counterpart. And that's why we had channeled once that you already are in union. You're always in union. You just forget that. And that creates that kind of separation energy. And it feels like you're pulled apart, but you're always one together. And there is that physical longing to be with each other, because you know that I'm just getting the phrase, it's better together. You just know that you are naturally one with each other. But human self, the physical world, again, has a very dense energy to it. And that's shifting with our ascension journey, with the planetary ascension. But it has a very dense energy to it. And so it makes it very difficult sometimes. If you're not conscious and you're not aware and you're not doing the work. And what do we mean by the work? We mean bringing the unconscious to light. We mean looking at the shadows, healing the pain, healing the triggers, healing the past, healing the karma. And what does healing mean? Healing means just remembering the truth that you're love, and that you always have been love, and that you always will be love, and you are love, and that love is eternal, because that love is God's source. The simplest level, you are God's source. Again, it's just the human selves and the ego and the patterns and society. It all kind of collides and gets in the way and creates a kind of soul sludge that perpetuates the separation consciousness. But you're overcoming that. So with these counterparts, what happens is sometimes the energy can still be very dense for one or both counterparts, especially if there's still karma that's clearing from your individual cycles. When we say that twin flame is an energy, we mean that twin flame is the energy of God's source that moves through your counterpart. But it's not just your counterpart, it moves through the world. You might have had experiences with regards to your journey where you have felt the energy of your twin in another person, in a friend, in a family member. They might have said something to you that your twin has said exactly. It's because it is the energy that moves through the world. Again, twin flame is love, unconditional love. Twin flame is an energy. So, yes, your twin is embodied in another person. And when you meet that other person, you have that sense of familiarity, you have that sense of homecoming, you have that sense of recognition. But twin flame is also beyond that person. It's also beyond you. It is the energy of God's source. It is the energy of love. And that energy of love exists within everything. Everything. Everything is our teacher. Everything becomes our teacher. We can learn from everything. We grow from everything. Your twin is your ultimate teacher. And so when we talk about releasing the attachment to a specific person, it's not because that person isn't your twin, so to speak, in your physical vessel. It could be that they have their own journey, that they have their own path, that they're clearing their own karma, that they are, for whatever reason, that you're experiencing other things that you need to experience for your growth, for your evolution. So you might experience the twin energy in another counterpart because it moves through other people. It is the energy of love. Twin flame is the energy of love. So you can experience, you can have, it's so hard to explain this because it's such a higher level. It's all about the levels of consciousness, right? You can have a twin flame that embodies, you can have a physical person that embodies the twin flame energy. And maybe they're just not ready for the connection. Maybe they're just not ready to come together with you. You can have other counterparts and soulmates that then embody the same frequency of that. Twin flame is an energy. I don't know how to explain this. Okay. I'm going to do my best. We talked about this before. I'm going to try to explain it again. Let's do it like this. Okay, I'm trying to see how they want me to do this. Okay, we've done this before. This is when you meet your twin flame, right? This is your twin flame. You meet that physical embodiment, you meet that physical person. And you feel that soul recognition, because what are you recognizing? You're recognizing love. But then the human stuff gets in the way, right? And there's all these triggers and there's all these traumas that come up to the surface, and you're remembering who you are through the twin acting as a catalyst and activating you to your ascension, activating you to your healing, and activating you to your remembrance of what the journey is. And what is the journey? The journey is returning home to yourself, returning home to God. Twin flame exists within you. It exists within you. You are your own twin flame. And that's embodied in another person, because that other person is you outward. It's a reflection of you. It's the ultimate reflection of you. It's the ultimate mirror of you. So it is embodied in another person. But as you go through your ascension, as you clear out all that soul sludge, as you move into the higher heart ascension journey, the next phase of your journey, you can think of it like this. Remember, there was a phase of your journey when there was just a lot of triggers, a lot of understanding what the journey is, a lot of understanding yourself. This is like where you come home to yourself. And so now you're learning through the energy of embodiment. You're embodying the higher self. You're embodying a higher energy of love. You're embodying a higher energy of unconditional love and patience and compassion. You're embodying your true sovereignty and authenticity. This is a higher level of your journey. This is when it starts, and you're going through all the triggers and remembering and clearing out a lot of that karma and a lot of that soul sludge. This is that higher energy of embodiment. So the person that you've been activated with can very much come with you and transform with you. The energy of your twin is always going to be transforming with you, but remember that they're also an individual person. They're embodied in an individual person with their own likes, their own dislikes, their own experiences, their own memories, things like that. You are one, yes, but this is still their own person. They still have their own free will in that respect. But as twin flame, as an energy, you're always one with your twin flame. And so as you're naturally growing, the energy of your twin flame, their higher self is going to be growing. Whether or not they choose to embody that higher self, this person here, that's up to them. But if they're not choosing to embody that higher self, that's when you can have another counterpart connection that embodies that twin flame energy. So that's where you have to release the need for that specific person. That's where you have to release the need for it to look a significant way, and just allow it to come through, that energy of unconditional love, the energy of twin flame to come through as it wants to, in the level of consciousness that matches your level of consciousness. And it's not a hierarchy, it's just a level of consciousness. It's not better or worse, it's not good or bad, it's not negative or positive. It's just you are where you are in your journey, other people are where they are in their journey, and it's just accepting of that. So if they're not embodying their higher self, or they're choosing not to embody their higher self, then you could be meeting other counterparts that are bringing in that twin flame energy. Because remember, twin flame is an energy of love. It is not a person. That's what we mean by twin flame is an energy, not a person. It is a consciousness. It is an energy that is held, that is experienced. It's the energy of unconditional love. It is not a specific person, by which I mean the body is just a body. The body is just a vessel. The reason why it gets so confusing is because we love that body, we love that vessel. Maybe we've had experiences with that person, we have memories with that person, we love that person, we want it to be that specific person. And there's nothing wrong with having that desire. I wish that the twin that I was activated with was my person. I want that. I still always want that, but not in the energy that we were in, not the experiences that we were in. I want the higher level of consciousness, the higher level of relationship, the higher level of embodiment that I've reached now. I want that person to match that consciousness to match that. And so that's where I've had to release and just allow myself to understand that it could be coming through in another counterpart connection. That's what we mean by that. I feel like I just made this worse. I feel like it's such a convoluted topic, and I think it's convoluted because there's so much jargon out there. There's so many labels. There's so much information wherein soulmate connections are applied to twin flame, and that's not the case at all. Soulmate connections are different than twin flame. And I think that a lot of people try to project the twin flame energy onto a soulmate connection, or they believe that they're in a twin flame connection, and it's actually a soulmate connection. remember, twin flame is the energy of unconditional love. It's the energy of homecoming. It's the energy of union. And what is union? Union is that balance. Union is that connection with Mother, Father, God. It's that spiritual connection. It's that deep-seated soul bond that you feel. And so it's of course we naturally have that desire and that longing for that in this lifetime, but it goes beyond the physical relationship. And I think too many people try to force, I did this myself, too many, because you don't understand it until you understand it. Too many people try to force a twin flame understanding into a physical relationship of what we know relationship to be in the 3D. Twin flame is an energy because it is love. Basically, pure and simple, it is love. And love moves through all. Love is the foundation of this universe. It is the foundation of this world. And love has many different layers. And twin flame has many different layers. There's many different layers of consciousness. And so if you just tune into the energy of love, that is the energy of twin flame. You are love with each other. And that's where you feel it within. You know how we're always saying to feel your twin flame, go within the heart. That's where your connection resides, on the bridge of the heart. That's what we mean. It's because twin flame is an energy that exists within you naturally as a twin flame. And so you're never separated, you're never apart. It's when we put that pressure and we put that onus onto another person that it's like we create that separation. Twin flame is an energy that moves through the world, it moves through the universe, that moves through us. And so the more that we tune into twin flame as an energy, rather than applying that to a specific person, the less we're going to suffer, because we're not expecting another person to meet our needs. Now, that being said, you will have, if you so desired, you will have counterpart connections that will meet you where you are. If you want a romantic relationship, you can have a romantic relationship. If you want a deep spiritual soul connection in a relationship, in a marriage, in a family, creating whatever it is that your heart desires in this physical world, you can have that. But it's releasing the expectation and tuning back into the love. That's what the twin flame energy is all about. Okay, I'm going to end this here because I don't know if I made it worse or not. This is just everything that I understand about twin flames. I can see the greater picture of it. I can feel it within myself. I understand it within myself. Sometimes it's just very hard for me to articulate higher level concepts because I'm trying to simplify it, and the only way I know how to simplify it is just, it's love. Twin flame is unconditional love. And it's just tuning into that and not requiring that of another person, but just tuning into that energetically. That's where you meet your twin flame within. And yes, you will experience that within your physical world. Many of us have met our twin flames in our physical world. Twin flame energy moves through the world. It is part of the world. It's an energy of unconditional love. And you can experience that in a number of different ways, including in a physical relationship, in a physical partnership. Okay, I'm going to end this here. I hope that's helpful. I hope it's not too convoluted. If you guys want to share your experiences, if you want to share your understanding, more than welcome to kind of help clarify this. This is my understanding from my experiences and what my guides have shown me over the past 6 years, and how that has evolved and how that has grown. Again, it's very hard for me to articulate, but I hope that it makes sense. I'm sending you guys so much love and so much light.